Good day, everybody. I thought that since I've been making these videos on biking trails around North Carolina, especially around Davidson, Huntersville area, that I would let people know that I am riding an electric bicycle. It's made by Ride One Up. You probably never heard of them, but they're a pretty new company. And they've just been making these bikes for a while. They are sold out of everything that they feature, and everything's back ordered. It's quite a deal. Anyway, let me take you through a little bit of the features of the bicycle. I'm going to start with the cockpit because that to me is an important part of dealing with the bike. First of all, notice the swept back handlebars. I can sit straight up and down and guide my bike. I don't have to be bent over like I'm riding some sort of a competition, which is very important to me. I've got my cell phone holder, my cup holder, always have to have water, my little bell, not necessarily required but very useful. I have an extra light that's incredibly bright, which I haven't used since I bought the bike, but it's there. I've got one of those fold-out locks, which is very important to lock up a $1,400 bicycle. And I got a little saddle bag. Well, I don't know what you would call it. It's a little knick-knack bag that I keep stuff in. Anyway, the bike is has a 500-watt motor in it. You can see the motor right here, and they're called hub motors for an obvious reason. It's got 7 speeds on the derailleur, a nice little rack, pretty comfortable saddle, standard brakes, nothing special about them. 160 millimeter rotor on the front and back, same on the back. And it's got the shock absorbing forks. They officially classify this as a mountain bike, but it doesn't make any sense. 48-volt battery, about 13.5 amp hours. So multiply those two together to get the total capacity in watts, or watt hours, excuse me. The bike has a range of around 25 to 35 miles in this hilly area around here. I've been out on the back roads, and that's about what it is. On a flat surface with you doing a lot of the pedaling, you can get a lot more mileage. The bike has a top speed of 28 miles an hour. It's a pedal assist that'll get you up to 28, and you're working pretty hard and pedaling pretty fast to get 28 miles an hour. The only time I've ever done it is going downhill. It also has a throttle here. Let me see if I can get a good shot of this right here. That runs you can run the bike. That's very handy when you're taking off from a dead stop and you want to get out in the street and across the street. Use that throttle. You have a choice. You can either use the throttle or you can use your pedals, and one or the other, but not both at the same time. But the throttle's a good way to get you started. Okay, let me take you through the controller here. Turn the bike on. Now we're ready to go. You select one of the power levels. These are pedal assist levels. And you've got to use your pedal in order to get the motor started. And at level 1, if you're pedaling on flat ground and just easily pedaling, not really pushing it, you can go about 8 to 10 miles an hour. And this is a class 3 bicycle. It can go 28 miles an hour. So if you get up to class 5, or level assist 5, you can go about 28 miles an hour, but you're pedaling like a fool. So personally, I don't like those kind of speeds. I like to take it easy. I always ride in about 2. And of course you've got your odometer right there and your mileage. You've got a tripometer that you can set and clear. It's currently at 12.7 miles. I guess that was my last ride. You got a battery indicator right here. 5 bars is a full bike, so each drop off is like 20%. You've got a timer so that when you're riding, you time your rides if you like. You've got a power meter that lets you know how much power your motor is pulling as you ride going up hills. You can actually peak out at about 820 watts. It's a 500 watt motor, but it can peak out at a higher power. Not something you really want to sustain, but that gives you an idea of how much power you're using. When you ride and you use this button here, it'll tell you what your average speed is, maximum speed was, current speed, so on. So that's the kind of information you get on here. There's a lot of things you can set inside here with this computer, which I'm definitely not going to go into because I don't even understand half of it. So there you have it. You gotta, by holding this button down here, you can turn on your backlight. Your backlight for the computer and your front light bulb on your bike. Bam! And that about does it for the Ride 1. Oh, this is a Model 100, or excuse me, a Model 500 Ride 1-Up bicycle. The tires on this bike are pretty cool. They're 27.5 inches high and they're 2.2 inches wide. You can see it's a pretty wide tire. That takes you through a lot of nasty material without suffering too much. I'm kind of interested in going with a seat, a shock absorbing seat like the Thud Buster. The bike weighs about 62 pounds with this particular battery. You can get smaller batteries and the bike will be lighter, but that's what this one is. I'm still looking for a way to transport the bike on the car. Most of the bike racks won't handle a 62-pound load, so it's problematic trying to find this stuff.